Welcome to Let's Do Yoga with Joanne, and I'm Joanne. Today's class is called Yoga Your Whole Body Loves. Well, basically any yoga you do, your body is going to love. And most doctors will tell you it's like almost the single most best thing you can do for yourself in your senior years. Of course, the other thing is a well-rounded exercise program to go with it. So anyway, you can see I'm still in my sling, so I'm waiting for an MRI now. I do not know how many of these classes are going to show up in my channel with me either wrapped up or unable to use that arm. But when it's all over and done with, maybe I'll count it up Sunday and share that with you, how many weeks I had to film with a wing that doesn't work. So let's begin with breathing exercise. And for our breathing exercise, I want to just inhale to the top, and then when you think you've had enough, I'm going to ask you to inhale some more. And then the same with the exhale. And it is surprising how much more air you can get in your lungs and how much more air you can get out of your lungs. So let's begin. Inhale, fill up. Hold there for just a hesitation, and then put in some more, fill some more. Exhale. Slight hesitation at the bottom, exhale some more, and a normal breath. So this is one of those exercises where you have to do a normal breath in between, or you'll just get lightheaded. Try it again. Inhale, fill it up. Hesitation, fill some more. Exhale. Hesitation, exhale some more. And take a normal breath. So it's flu season again, or just about. So flu season is also respiratory illness season. So we're trying to be as preventative as we can to have as healthy lungs as we can. Inhale, fill it up. Hesitate, fill some more. Exhale. Hesitate and exhale all the way. Good. Okay. So just bringing your chin towards the left, not all the way over the shoulder, but just towards the F. And we're going to make the letter M. So it's going to be a slightly angled outside foot on that M. So you're going to bring your head just slightly in and all the way to the top. And then bring your head just slightly angled so it comes, your chin comes into the center of your chest. Now we need to make the other hump of the M. So again, slightly angling all the way up and then slightly angling all the way down so that you're kind of looking into your armpit. Let's try that backwards now. So you're going the other way. So angling it all the way up to the top, angling it so that your chin is tucked hard into your chest, angling it so you're up to the top of that first hump, and angling it so that you're kind of looking down just sort of into your armpit. And then you can look ahead. Okay, we want to do the train wheels just to get those shoulders action moving. So it's kind of a train wheel action like that, only you're using both arms. So let's not forget that you need to use both arms, even though I'm only using one. Okay, so if I could, I would use both arms. And the train wheel, for any of you younger than me, you won't even know what a train wheel looks like, but it used to look like this. There was a bar in the middle that kind of followed the action of the train. And I don't think those things have been around basically since the steam engine quit. I don't know. But anyway, that's still called train wheels. Look it up. You'll have to Google that. Okay, and then just go backwards now, or the opposite direction from whatever way you were going. I'm just trying to work my shoulder in kind of a safe and gentle manner. Okay, and then coming around I want to, both hands, both arms. So I'm coming out. I'm trying to get about shoulder height, but if you have a bad shoulder, it might be down here or something, or like in my case, it won't be out at all. And the circle that we want to make is that hard one where it circles around the bottom like this, like so it doesn't come up. It's not that one. It's the one that circles around the bottom. So you're just basically using your elbow and not your shoulder at all. Do about 4 in one direction and then take it in the other. And remember, you're doing it with both arms now. I probably can't say that enough, because if you just look at me, you're going to see one arm going, and you need to do both. Shake that out. That tires out the arm. Okay, again, all these movements are going to be done with 2 arms. So on the inhale, both arms lift up. On the exhale, both arms come into that goal post, or I always think of that cactus in Arizona, saguaro cactus. And then inhale, both arms come up. And on the exhale, I want to take one arm down and the other arm comes over in a side bend. Both arms up. And then one arm over and the other arm down in a side bend. Both arms up. Bring those knees wide. Reach over one side, and it's a reach. So you really want to stretch out. Stretch until the butt lifts right off of that chair, the one side. And then come back in. You're coming into both of those arms up. And on the exhale, you're going to reach. And come in, both arms up. And then thankfully, you can bring those arms down. So probably you can feel that in your arms. And you know, if you do, you can do the bent arm if you need to, which is a lot easier. Okay, so I'm just going to say inhale, exhale, and we're going to go speedily along. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, goalpost. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, side reach. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, side reach. Inhale, arms up. Thankfully, you can bring those arms down. So just shake that out a little bit. We'll do it one more time. And as I said, if you need to, you can just make it kind of a bent arm. You don't have to have the full reach if your arms and shoulders are getting sore. And inhale up. Exhale, goalpost. Inhale up. Exhale, bend. Inhale up. Exhale, bend. Inhale up. Exhale, reach. Inhale up. And exhale, reach. And inhale, coming back into center. So let's stand as we come into our standing flow. So once again, I'll tell you, when to use 2 arms and when to use 1. So I'm hoping there's no one on here really hard of hearing and that they're able to understand you need to use 2 arms instead of 1. So I'm going to take tabletop. Tabletop is where both my left and my right hand reach for the chair, and I walk my feet and ankles and knees and hips are all lined up underneath me, right? So I'm not reaching for them. I'm not too much like this. I've just got a nice straight back. That's why it's called tabletop, so that you could set a tray for tea on my back. All right, so this is cat-cow. Remember, please, when you do cow, that your tailbone tilts up and you're looking forward. But if you have lower back issues, that might be too much. And so you don't tilt the tailbone. You just keep the back straight, okay? So inhale, looking forward, fill the belly. Exhale, round that back, really tuck the tailbone under you. Inhale, this part's called cow, looking forward, dropping the belly. Exhale, this is that arched back of the Halloween cat. Inhale, cow, looking forward. And exhale, tucking that back. Okay, so I'm going to leave my left arm down. If my right arm was working, I would move it out to shoulder height and then above, all the way up. I cannot do that, but you can. Lift that hand all the way up high. And on your exhale, so that's an inhale, on your exhale, bring that arm back to shoulder height. Inhale, bring that hand all the way up high. And exhale, bring it down to shoulder height. Inhale, bring it all the way up high. And exhale, you can bring that hand all the way down back to the chair seat. And then you can stand up. So we come from this position into inhale, bringing those arms all the way up to tall mountain. Now I want to leave my right foot in front of the chair. My back foot is at a 90-degree angle to my front foot, or the other way you can say it is the back foot is parallel to the front of the chair. My front foot is pointing directly under that chair, and my front knee is bent. Okay, I want to come into warrior two. Warrior two, both those arms come out to shoulder height. Now you can only see, you see I've only got one arm out, but you want two arms up at shoulder height, and you look forward over that front arm and inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. So on the exhale, that back hand comes down and the front knee straightens out. This is triangle. You want to do a reverse triangle. So you're going to lift the front hand all the way up, and maybe even turn it into a back bend. This is your inhale. And then for your exhale, you want to bend that knee and reach for that chair with the left hand. That's called extended angle. Okay, and then this arm comes straight up. So lots going on. Inhale, back arm down, front knee straight, front arm up. Exhale, front knee bends, back arm comes up, front arm, you can either rest that elbow on the thigh, as like I'm doing, or you can reach for the chair with your hand. Inhale, bring that arm down, straighten the knee, bring the front arm up. Exhale, bend the knee, bring the back arm up and the front hand down. So many things to remember. And you can't even watch me do it. So if you're following along and you're doing okay, good for you. And then let's just come out of that, stepping nicely to the front of that chair. All right. So once more, I take tabletop. This time, my right hand stays on the chair. And my left hand is going to come up into that easy twist. So this is my inhale. And my exhale, that arm comes to shoulder height. Inhale. Exhale, and that arm comes to shoulder height. Inhale. And that arm comes all the way down and you stand up into tall mountain. So both arms come all the way up. Both arms come all the way up for tall mountain. I want to keep my left foot forward now and bring my right foot back. My right foot is at following this line parallel to the front of the chair, and my front foot is directly under the chair, or you can say that my back foot is perpendicular to my front, okay? So either way. We want to immediately come into warrior two. So this is the arm that's working. So my front arm comes up and my back arm comes up. So make sure you have your back arm up and you're looking over that front hand. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. We want to take triangle right away. So I'm going to straighten that front knee. My left hand is going to come down on the backhand side of that leg, and my front arm comes all the way up for reverse triangle. And then I'm going to bring this hand down to the chair or to the elbow for extended angle, whichever works for you. Inhale, reverse triangle, the knee straightens, this arm comes all the way up, my back arm slides down my back leg. Exhale, I'm going to reach for the chair or place my elbow on my upper thigh, and then my left arm comes up. Well, you can't see it. My invisible left arm comes up. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, extended angle, and my left arm comes straight up. And I want to step gracefully to the front of the chair. Or I pop my way up in a series of steps. Whatever works for you. Okay, I want to do tree. I actually do tree fairly often. It's just such an iconic yoga pose, isn't it? Like we've all seen it in the magazines. So the first thing I do is hang on to my chair. And I want to put all my weight into this standing leg close to the chair. My other toe points out, and I drag that toe, keeping it pointing out so that my knee points out until I'm cupping my ankle bone. And you can have your toes on the floor, or you can take your toes off the floor, or you can put your feet on the calf of your leg. Wherever you are, make sure you're being challenged, because balance is all about being challenged. It's not about being super easy. See if you can get your fingers lightly on the chair. Stare at something that won't move, so you can't look at me. You have to stare at something that won't move. Maybe you can get to one fingernail on the chair. Maybe you can get your hand right off of that chair. And it's probably pretty windy in the house right now. And then put that foot down and we'll just go to the other side. So in my classes, I often suggest you have a glass of water before you do balance, or a drink of water, because the brain is made mostly of water. So balance is about brain and abdomen primarily. So, okay, I've got my one foot pointed straight forward, or as forward as it can, and all my weight is on this leg. My other toe is pointed off to the side, and I'm going to drag that toe in to cup my ankle. Maybe my toe comes off the floor, or maybe I put it on my calf, never on the knee. Okay, so if you've got it on the knee, move it down to the calf. You don't want it on the knee. Okay, I want to make sure, yeah, this is a good place to be. I'm going to have to work hard to stay here. Stare at something that won't move and see if you can get to your fingernails. You're just lightly touching the chair. And if you're fighting hard to stay here, that's good enough. If you can take your fingers off and it's only for a second and you fall over, good enough. Try again. Keep trying. And then if you can, you take your hand right off your chair and fight the wind that wants to blow you over. That's not working for me today. By the way, that is the thing about balance. You might be able to do it really well one day and the very next day not be able to get your balance. It's just, both young and old alike can struggle with balance issues. Have a seat. All right, so I just want to do a shoulder shrug. So I'm going to lift my shoulders towards my ears, both of them, and then I'm going to bring the elbows back and down and just keep sliding those shoulders down until my shoulder blades slide right down that spine. Okay, and then once I've got that in position, then I'm just going to lift one shoulder and bring it down all the way down so my shoulder blade goes back in position. Then the other shoulder, and bring it all the way down until my shoulder blade goes back in position. Wide-legged forward fold. Now, if you're easily lightheaded or struggle with vertigo, then you're just going to place your hands on your shins, and that's as far as you're going to go. If you're able, you might be able to bring your fingertips to the floor. Maybe you can walk them out a little ways, but don't slide off your chair. I have slippery pants on. If I reach, I would slide right off my chair. So be careful that doesn't happen. And be careful that your head does not go below your heart. If you have high blood pressure, you just can't do that. So, well, you can, but it's only for a second, right? Just to get your shoes on. Then you got to get your head back up. So we're taking this forward lean, and the reason I'm doing that is I want to stretch out the back of those legs, and I can sure feel that. And then bring yourself back up. And if you liked the video, even if it's a one-armed instructor, then please press like or share or subscribe or whatever, and continue following the continuing saga of however long it takes me to get this thing fixed in Saskatchewan. You'll know then how long it takes. Okay, leaning back in your chair, pressing the lower back into the chair. Close your eyes. Take a really deep breath in, and as you exhale through your mouth, see if you can work at softening every part of your body until you're just like, I don't know, like a beanbag sitting on the couch. Just totally morph your form into a relaxed bag of sugar or flour sitting in that chair. And then for 20 seconds, let's see if you can bring your mind back to your breathing, or maybe there's a sound in your house, the ticking of a clock, your refrigerator running, whatever. But for 20 seconds, if your mind drifts to do something else, bring it back, beginning now. And then slowly open your eyes. I'm glad you joined me today. I always appreciate when you do that. And may your inner light shine for all to see. Namaste.